everybody, Danette Hutchinson here with The Bride. I hope your day is going well, and I hope your time at service or in worship or however you do your Sundays was pleasing and restful and refreshing for you as it was for me. I want to talk today about another project that I'm starting. You can see this one in the back that is complete. However, there are some other alterations that I'm going to make to this dress just to finish it off. I think a little bit more to my liking. I did enter it into a contest, and unfortunately, there were a whole lot of other people that placed an entry as well. And so, needless to say, I didn't win, but I still believe I won because I finished my project. I found my model. We took the pictures and I posted it into the entry. So I'm glad to do that. You know, if sometimes if we just purpose to do what we had intended to do and not worry about the outcome, that is always a win for me. So I hope that will be an encouragement to you. We're going to start a new project today, and all I want to do today is show you how I'm laying out the pattern. I'm actually using the Butterick Sloper pattern, and I'm going to trace off the pieces that I will need, that I'll need to adjust, I'll need to design. I'm doing a size 18 bridal gown, and I believe the measurements were 42. I'm using this one so you can see what it is. Butterick 5627. Butterick 5627, size 18. And so all this is your sloper pattern. So you remember me talking about getting your sloper pattern, and after you have your sloper pattern developed to fit your body as it is now, not as it may be next year, but as it is now, you can literally make anything you want from those sloper blocks. You can make t-shirts, you can make nighty camisoles, you can make robes, you can make a coat, you can make pants. You can make anything once you've got your sloper pattern developed. That means it fits you in the chest, the 4-inch chest. It fits you in your shoulder and your shoulder slope. It fits you around the back of your neck so that it lays right. It fits you down here in your, what they call this part right here, the neck. And so, and all the way down center front, center front, down your waist, down your high hip, your low hip, your thighs, your knees, your calves, all the way down to your feet. And so you want to make sure that your sloper pattern is developed properly for you. Number one. Number two, I'm going to use this sloper pattern to develop this dress. Let's see if I have this is probably a good picture right here. This is a good picture just to show you what I'm speaking of, which is, I'll use this one right here. So it shows a little bit more. Look at those beautiful insets right there on both sides. What I don't know is whether or not it fits the same way around the back. So in order to develop this into a wedding dress, I'm going to need to add a little bit more pizzazz and oomph for it to stand out as a feature on the dress. This is going to be great, especially for women that have larger hips or a larger bust, because the cutouts are going to take away the emphasis from the bust area and the hip area, and this is going to be the focal point right here. So the dress actually is a floor length dress, and here's a picture of the floor length. So if I'm looking right here, you can see it's a floor length dress. Look at how this one right here is a plus size. That's why I decided to do a size 18, because It looks just as classy and elegant as it does on a more petite body. You can tell the difference here and here, but it still gives you that pizzazz, that lace cutout. Actually, it's a sheerness with some lace overlay. And I'll have to see if I can do that on the front or how far around the back I actually want to go. But it is floor length. It is A-line. And I believe there are some pleats right here at the high hip, right here at the high hip. So that means on the side seam, there is a pleat element as well, which I think is really, really cool on this dress. So that's what we're going to be working on this next project. Let me show you how I have the pattern pieces laid out and what I intend to do with them. Amen. Okay, so I've got my pattern pieces laid out. Let me get a little bit of an extension here. You can see I've got the pattern pieces laid out. This is the bodice front, which is going to be cut on the fold. I think on the back of the dress, there's a zipper up the back because I do not see, I think there's a zipper up the back here. I do not see any indication of a side seam zipper. So I'm sure there's a zipper up the back. I'm sure that the neckline actually goes all the way around. Like there's probably not a deep divot, a deep U shape in the back. Even if there is, I can still put a zipper there. And again, it goes into an A-line skirt here. And I'm going to put a pleat here just to give it another element there. All right, so in order to do that, I've got my pattern pieces laid out. But remember, this is a sloper piece. These are slopers. So I've got my sloper pieces laid out because I do not want to cut them because I'm going to transfer them to tag board. I've got about probably 8 or 9 of the Butterick's in different sizes. So I'm going to transfer them to tag board, which will make it a little bit easier when it comes to plotting out the design of the garment. Okay, so I've got it laid out here. Whoops. Got it laid out here. And what I'm going to do is, and none of this is laid out on the grain because it's just a piece of wrapping paper. You can use tissue paper, wrapping paper. I got these at the dollar store for $1.25. And you can see how long it is. It's pretty wide. Let me see if I can see how long that is. And then it doesn't have a much as far as amount, but it'll work for what I'm doing right now until I can place a larger order on Amazon for some medical paper. Okay, so what I intend to do is I'm going to use the, now on this pattern, on your Butterick pattern, you're going to see that there are no variances in sizes. It's all one size. It's an 18. So in other words, it doesn't grade up or down from an 18 to a 16 or an 18 to a 20. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to run my tracing wheel along the line of the pattern, just like this. I'm going to trace out the darts. I'm going to trace out everything. I'm not going to use tracing paper, but I am, because what will happen when you do this is you'll leave little perforations on your paper after you pull up your pattern. So there's really no need to use tracing paper itself because you'll be able to see where your line is. The same with the grain line. Same thing. I'm just going to go up like that, cut out my grain line, trace out my darts. Now on the pattern itself, the back is going to be fine because we're going to put a zipper up the back. The front, however, is going to be a little bit different. It's going to require a little bit different working. I still will trace it out completely, but then I will have to come in and design this V on the front. I don't know if you can see it. Let me design this V on the front. And it actually, I think it actually is rounded right here. And on the skirt, it's rounded up that way so that it connects in the middle. And of course, it's overlaid with lace, so you can't really see it. If you've seen summer clothes designs and stuff like that on Simplicity or McCall's Patterns, Nomi Patterns, and you've seen that design. So it's pretty much the same thing. So when I trace this off onto my tissue paper or my wrapping paper, I'm going to have to go ahead and cut in those design lines here to make that V, or it's actually it goes up here and around, and on the top it goes down and around. So that's going to give me my design line there. That's what I'm doing here. Now on the skirt, with the skirt here, this is my skirt pattern laid out here. I don't know if you can really see it really well. Let's see where we're at. Okay, that's better. On the skirt pattern, okay, so on the skirt pattern, this is the back. Now on the back, it leaves me a slit, a placket back here on the back. And I was considering, still not sure if I'm going to do it or not. Remember, there is a pleat here. I believe there's a pleat here on the side of the skirt. I believe there is a pleat design because I can see how the skirt, the hemline, see how the hemline kind of wraps around itself. So I believe there is a pleat on the side of the skirt, okay? And so what I'm thinking about doing is inside of this pleat, adding a sheerness right here with a lace overlay to highlight that part as well. So if I do that, I won't need this part at all because the actual design is going to be on the side seam and not on the back. So on the back, what I need to do is, I'll go ahead and do that while I've got this, while I've got you right here. I'm going to go ahead and do this, line this up. Make sure I've got this lined up. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my line here down to the hem so that I know I don't need this part. Okay, so that's going to help me while I'm tracing everything off to not trace out this part. Just carry this line all the way down, center back. Okay, and then center front is where we're going to have to make that other design line. So on the front here, somewhere around here, I'm going to have to take this dart out, but I'm going to have to bring it. It's kind of going to have to be like, this is center front here. So I would have to pretty much draw a design line here so I can get that maybe down here, actually, to the dart leg. So I can get that V right there. That's going to have to happen. That's going to have to happen on the front here as well. I'm going to have to raise this up a little bit to come around this way so that it connects with the center front. So it connects with the center front to give me, I'm just working this out, okay? To connect with the center front here to give me this beautiful design right here. This is a better picture. To give me this beautiful design right here. I love it, I love it, I love it. So that's what we're going to be working on. In the meantime, I will go ahead and get my pattern pieces traced off, get them true the lines, cut them out, and put the design line on my tissue paper, and we'll be started on this dress here shortly. Well, what do you think? I'm excited about this project. Now, I know some of you are saying, man, it took you so long to finish that other dress. Hey, listen, when you have a life like mine, sometimes things take time. Be gracious with me. This one, though, I tell you, when I saw this dress, I said to myself, I have to make that into a bridal gown. I am excited to see the outcome. I'm excited to see the results, and I'm excited to share the journey with you. I hope you have a wonderful week. Remember to take time for yourself, because self-care is healthcare. Also, remember to let your gifts flow so somebody else can be blessed by them. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, we're continuing to mark our pieces. We're continuing to use our little tracing wheel, going around all of the pattern pieces. There's only one size to this pattern piece, so I'm going to use the size 18. I'm going all the way around, finishing this up here, and making sure to mark the darts. Making sure to mark the darts while I'm at it. Even though they may be, I may take them out and move the dart to the side seam to give me a seamless front. I mean, a seamless, dartless skirt. So we'll see about that, though. It all depends on how this design is going to play out. But right now, we're just working on getting the... It didn't look like it did anything. What was that? Ah! Okay. That didn't look like it did anything, did it? What's wrong with my tracing wheel? What is going on? You don't look like you're doing your job, sir. What is the problem? Okay. If you hear music playing, it is my husband who is upstairs watching television, and whatever movie it is, I don't own the rights to the music. I'm not even trying to. I think he's watching a cartoon of some sort, an animated movie. Okay, so let me just get this done here. Make sure to keep your lines straight. Believe it or not, in the end, it makes a huge difference. In the end, it makes a huge, humongous difference. Do you hear me when I say humongous difference? Be sure to transfer your grain line with your tracing wheel. Be sure to keep your tracing wheel flush with your ruler to keep that line straight. Okay, and I'm tracing off the part that I don't need for the back. It gave me a split, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to do either a beautiful train with the same something with the train with this same lace detailing on the train at the bottom, so that when the bustle, if I extend the skirt and there's a bustle, then you have this beautiful detail. But we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, just trace everything off. Okay. Does anybody know what time it is? What time is it? What time is it? Okay. I'm really having a blast doing this. I know I got a comment from one of the subscribers that I'm pretty calm on my videos, and I am pretty calm, but I also like to have fun and make people laugh, so there is that. There is that too. Okay, so I'm going to mark off all of my notches. If you know anything about sewing, you know that notches talk to each other. And so it's important to make sure that you mark your notches. Okay. And this circle right here I won't need because I'm not making the vent. So I don't need that circle right there. I can cross that off. I don't need it. Okay. But I've done my darts. I've done my center back. This is where the zipper ends right here. That's where the zipper ends. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my zipper. You may be able to hear my husband upstairs singing that This Girl Is on Fire song, but okay. All right. Okay. I think I've got everything marked. I've got everything just going around here. I didn't do this one. Notches and dots and circles, they talk to each other, so you have to mark them off so they can talk to each other. And they won't be one speaking Greek and the other one speaking, I don't know, Spanish or English. They need to be able to communicate. That's going to help you in putting your garment together. All right. Whoa, slow down, Mabel. Slow down. Okay, this one's not done. Slow down, Mabel. Okay. All right. Mark the notches. Okay. Well, make sure you even do your triangles here. Hey, listen, on these little triangles right here, these little triangles right here, make sure you mark those as well. Okay, that's another communication point for your pattern. Okay, you know how it is. If you're talking two different languages, it's hard to understand what the other person is saying. I'm just going to notch this rather than circle it. Make sure I've got everything notched and ready to go. I'm excited about this dress. I have to tell you, I just really, really am. Got a lot of work to do on it, but I'm still excited. Okay, so everything has been, tracing has been marked off with the tracing wheel. I can take these off. The next step is to highlight the tracing wheel marking. And I'm not going to use a permanent marker because I don't want it to bleed off onto my white fabric, if you can understand that. But I will show you what's been done. What do we want to use for that? I am really concerned about using a black marker. Okay. All right. I guess I don't have a choice. I do have a choice, but I don't see another choice at the moment. There we go. Hey, listen. If you have not downloaded Anita Morris, Anita by Design, and you have not downloaded her PDF on getting your things together to make your pattern, your sewing life a little easier, go ahead and go to her website, anitabydesign.com, and grab that document. You'll be glad you did. Okay, this is not really working. Wow, that is not working at all. Oh Lord, I did not want to use a marker, but I obviously I'm not going to have a choice, because you probably will not be able to see. That is it. Alrighty, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So you can see I am simply going over the tracing wheel, marking, and at the same time I am truing, what's called truing, or neatening up the lines in case I went off grid. I'm just making sure that the lines are straight where they need to be straight. Like this curve right here. I'm just going to go easily around this curve, the armhole, and I'm going to connect the dots. Where's mine? There we go. Use your tools, guys. Use your tools, okay? Use your tools. Make your life easier. A lot of reasons why people get frustrated in sewing, and I know this from experience, is when I don't use my tools and I just try to, wing it. Winging it is not the thing to do when you're trying to make a pattern or trying to work with a pattern. Okay? Winging it is not the thing to do. Do what you need to do with what you have. So I'm just showing you, I'm going to go through the tracing wheel on this. Is this the bodice front? I better mark it. I should know because there's only one notch here. Oh, wow. You can't even see what I'm doing. Oh, yes, you can. There's only one notch here. That's going to tell you that that is the bodice front. 2 notches here tells you that that's the bodice back. Okay, the armhole for the front is right here. The armhole for the back has 2 notches. So your notches are always going to speak to each other. And boy, when they talk to each other, what a peaceful conversation. But oh my gosh, when your notches are not talking nice to each other, that is when you have to bring in Mr. Seam Ripper. And he does not play. Mr. Seam Ripper does not play. He actually rips things apart. Okay, so you don't want to have to do that. If you play with your tools and use your tools, you won't have to do that very often. Okay, like this right here. I have a shadow. Okay, this one here. Tracing off the dart now. Your dart is always going to have a bit of a curve at the through the legs, through the dart legs, the root. Okay. So you're going to have to make sure that you are using your lines correctly. If you've done quilting, you know what I'm talking about. You know, anybody that's sewn even a little bit knows, should know, or has learned, right, that pieces work well together when you have them set to work well together. Okay? All right, and then we're just going to do the neck on the front here. I'm laying my ruler right up against the same tracing that I did with the wheel. So it's curved right here, so I'm laying this right here, and then I'm going to have to turn it because that curve is going around. So I'm just going to follow it. Follow the curve, just like you do when you're driving. Okay, so there we go. That's our first pattern piece. All right, and then, oh, see, you know what I forgot to do? The grain. Oh, we don't have to do a grain line. Good teaching point. Didn't have to do a grain line on the center front because we're going to cut it on a fold. Okay, so you're going to lay your pattern piece on the fold of whatever fabric you're using. Okay, so this is center front. Center fold. I say center front. Okay, and that's where we're going to cut. So this is the bodice front. I didn't want to use this marker, but I guess it's going to be okay. Bodice front, cut on fold. Size 18. Today's date, 6/8/25. And this is a sloper block for wedding dress. Okay, so it helps for you to note on your pattern piece when you're making a pattern piece. It helps to note on your pattern piece what it is, how to cut it out, cut on fold, and we're cutting one. Cut one on fold. It is a sloper block, so that means it came from this pattern here and not from your typical ready-to-wear patterns like this, for instance. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on tracing off my markings all the way around. And this is going to be what's called a soft dress. So I'm not doing any, if you notice on the pattern or the inspiration dress, it does not have any corset. It doesn't have any bra cups or anything like that. So whoever wears this dress, it's going to be important for them to wear the proper undergarments so that it hangs on them correctly. It's called a soft dress. All right, so I'm going to keep going around here. I'm not going to leave you on the line while I'm doing all that, and we will pick up with each other later. All right, so everything has been laid out. All of the pattern pieces have been traced off with my tracing wheel. I got this from Waywack, I believe, waywack.com. It's not sponsored, so go ahead and get you one. And I have marked everything off all of the seam lines. The seam allowance is included in this, so you won't see me adding seam allowance here. It's already in the pattern. The grain lines have been set, as you can see on the back and on the back top and the skirt back. The bodice back and the skirt back. The bodice front and the skirt front don't require a grain line because they're going to be cut on the fold. As you can see up there, that says cut on the fold. And then this says here, center fold, so we don't need a grain line for that. The neck facings have been cut out here. Everything is marked, the size 18, today's date, I believe. Let's see. You might ask, why am I putting the date on here? It's good to put a date on your patterns that you're making. If this was for somebody specific and I wanted to keep the pattern blocks, it would be helpful to know what date I actually developed the pattern blocks, so that if they happen to lose or gain weight, we can kind of adjust the blocks as needed. So right now it's a size 18, just straight across the board, and that size, the size 18 is a bust measurement of 40, a waist measurement of 32, and a hip measurement of 42. So if any of those measurements change, if I decide to do this for a bespoke pattern, then I'll know how to adjust the pattern pieces to fit the client. So that's why you want to put all the information on your pattern pieces for yourself and for anything that you might do for a client. So what's next? What's next is this. We're going to have to cut these out, of course, and then I will be lengthening the skirt because, again, our inspiration piece is a floor length dress. So I will be lengthening the skirt. I will be widening it out to an A-line, as you can see right here. A little bit up more of an A-line so I can put that tuck at the waistline all the way down to the floor. And then we will be developing, see if you can see that a little bit easier. This portion right here, I will be needing to do that on the bodice front. I don't think this goes all the way around to the back. I'm not sure because I can't see it. I can only guess. But right now it's just going to be on the front, I believe. And so I need to develop the top. Again, it's going to be a bit of a U shape here, and bring it up, bring the waist from the center front up a little bit and down to the regular waistline here. And then we're going to add the lace on top. There's a mesh that goes in between there. So I've got some mesh fabric or organza that's going to go on here before we put on the lace. And of course it is just a widened jewel neckline. And I think that's it for right now. So the next steps are going to carry us into cutting out the fabric actually. Right now, we're not ready to do that. Okay, so right now we're not ready to cut out the fabric because there's a lot of design that needs to happen in the pattern pieces itself. And as I was afraid, I told you I was concerned about the permanent marker. I am a little bit concerned about that. I don't know how I'm going to resolve that once I get the pattern pieces cut out, but I will. And I just may actually cut out the pattern pieces on, like it's not interfacing. It can be used as interfacing. I don't know exactly what it's called, but anyway, it's clear and it's woven. And I may just cut these pieces out on that so that I don't transfer. It's permanent marker. It's probably not going to transfer, but who wants to take a chance on bridal gown fabric? I don't. So we're not going to do that. That's where we're at right now. I hope today was informative for you, even though we're not cutting out anything as far as fabric and we're not doing any sewing right now. It is always helpful to know how the process works. And then sometimes you have to work it, and then sometimes you have to like rework it. So this is the great opportunity to work out all the bugs. Work out all the bugs on your pattern first, because whatever the pattern is, that's what the garment's going to be. So work out all your bugs on the pattern, even on a piece of pattern like this. You can even do this. Let me show you this little trick. In my pattern making book, Pattern Making for Fashion Design, Pattern Making for Fashion Design, this is by Helen Joseph Armstrong, 2nd edition. It's an older book, but I like it. She gives us half-size pattern pieces to use that you can cut out. I'll show you in just a minute, but you can print them off and cut them out and make a sample, like design your fabric, your garment with these half-size sloper blocks, and then go ahead and make the garment. It's a little bit smaller, but at least you'll be able to kind of get the feel for how it's going to sew together, how you might want to design it. If you want to lengthen the skirt, make it a A-line skirt or a ball gown skirt, you can do all of that on these half-size pieces. Let me show you. Okay, so here's the half-size bodice front. I don't know if you can actually see that. It's the bodice front. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Okay, much better. So this is the bodice front of your sloper, and it's half size of the regular size of your bodice, okay? And then we've got the bodice. Oh, that's the bodice back. This is the bodice. Oh, that's the bodice front half size with one dart. This is the bodice front half size with a side dart and a waist dart. This is your bodice back with a shoulder dart and a waist dart and a balance line here in case you want to do a princess seam here, or if you're making a jacket, some of these will come in handy. Your skirt front half size gives you the hip measurement here and 2 waist darts, and then your skirt back half size. I don't know if the sleeve is in here. It should be. And then your sleeve block. So you have your mini blocks that you can use. When I say mini, I mean smaller blocks that you can use if, in fact, you want to make a smaller sample of the garment that you intend to make. And all of the tips and techniques apply even to the smaller version of what you might make. Okay. And then it comes in even smaller sizes, which is the quarter size. So you've got your quarter size back, your sleeve, and your quarter size bodice front. You've got your bodice front with your 2 darts and single dart. You've got your bodice, your skirt back and front. You have a torso back and front. This is where I'm telling you, with your sloper, you can do so much. This is where you begin to make coats and dresses, because in order to make a coat and a dress, a coat that's beneath, that goes further down than your hips, where your bodice block and your skirt would go, like half of this right here. Can't see that. Anyway, your torso block is what's going to help you develop those coats and jackets and all of those things, dresses of all sorts. I really encourage you to get your bodice block done. And then you have a French curve. If you're not able to afford a French curve, cut it out in some cardboard or tag board, and you'll have a French curve. All right. So I hope that really helps you and encourages you. So I hope that really helps you and encourages you as far as your bodice blocks, your sloper blocks, the options that you have to use a smaller set of sloper blocks. just to practice your design, or even just to lay it out on, trace out your slopers, your half size or quarter. I prefer the half size. Quarter size is a little bit too small, but half size sloper blocks. And then you can see if that design that you have in your head will actually translate to paper. You might need to, you know, decide, well, that's not going to work, but maybe this will. And it's on these blocks and on the paper where you're actually going to be able to develop your design idea and make any adjustments if necessary. If you would like a copy of these blocks, the half-size blocks, I prefer the half-size blocks. If you'd like a copy of the half-size blocks, hey, just let me know. I think my email address is in the description box, or it's in my information. If you would like that, just let me know. I'll print these off. I believe I can print these off. If I have the right to print them off, does it say not to? All rights reserved. No part of this book may be used or reproduced in any manner whatsoever without written permission, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical articles and reviews. Well, I can't send them to you, but you may be able to download them on the website and pick you up a set of these half-size blocks, and just, you know, use your creativity and see what you can come up with. All right, that's it for today. The next time we come together, you're going to see me to either making these measurements on the bodice skirt and the bodice front for that design in the front, or I will do it together with you live. We'll see how that goes. All right. Until then, thank you guys for your time. It's not unappreciated. Thank you for any comments that you may have. If you are a super seamstress and you have some ideas for me, I would love to hear from you. We all can grow together. Until then, have a wonderful time and a blessed rest of your week.